The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
Joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Pranav Kanade. He's VanEck portfolio manager. Good afternoon, or good morning, Pranav.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. So, of course, we heard from Jay Powell, the Fed chair, about the Fed's upcoming approach to raising the Fed funds rate. It looks like it probably will be, if anything, closer to 50 basis points than 75 basis points. But it doesn't mean necessarily that inflation is totally under control just yet in their eyes. What are the implications here for the crypto markets? Does this mean exactly what? How does somebody play and how does somebody get yield at this moment?
Yes, just very high level framework we've been using is asking what Fed funds is going to look like. What's the Fed funds rate going to be? When T-bills are likely going to yield, in the high fours, 4.5 to 4.75, maybe 5%. Every risk asset will likely have to compete with that. Whether it's equities, high yield, any risk asset, right, including crypto. So the way we think about this is if we break up the token space into projects that are, let's just say, free cash flow positive, where fees being generated for those projects are greater than inflation, versus projects that are, let's just say, free cash flow negative, where there's high inflation and minimal fees being generated, we think there'll be a bifurcation of performance among those tokens. We think the ones that are profitable, if you want to call it profitable, will likely be better performers over the next several months to years as a result of what's happening macro and with the Fed.
Obviously it's not just getting the yields, but it's also the capital appreciation, if you will, on the tokens. And it seems right now that the market is fairly weak. When we look at the Grayscale GBTC, it said it's trading at over 40% discount to its assets here. And VanEck, for instance, has also proposed an ETF. It's clear that the market doesn't think that there's going to be any interest at all by the SEC to approve an ETF. First of all, what does that mean for the likes of VanEck, which again, that might be a different department, but nonetheless, what does it also mean in terms of what's it indicating in terms of the appetite for taking on crypto by the general market?
Yeah, look, I think an ETF would be great for everyone. It'll be a safe place, likely, for investors to look to express risk. Right now, those options are pretty limited, right? So historically, if anyone has wanted Bitcoin or Ethereum exposure, they've generally gone to the centralized exchanges, and we just saw the downfall of one and the issues with one of them. So having a regulated product, I think, will be positive for everyone. Now, as you mentioned, I don't work on that side of the business. I primarily focus on a liquid token strategy. So I don't have too much insights on what's going to happen with an ETF approval from a regulatory perspective. But we do think that's going to be a likely safe space for people to look to invest. Now, what I think is interesting is a competitor of VanEck recently launched a crypto offering, and this is a pretty large competitor. So a crypto offering where individuals can hopefully buy crypto in their brokerage accounts or in their even retirement accounts. And people could look at that as a potential safe space to deploy capital to buy crypto.
Pranav, have we reached the bottom in the crypto markets? And, what will, if so, what will be the catalyst for the upswing in the next year or so?
Yep. It's always kind of hard to tell where the bottom is in crypto in general. I've been sort of following these markets since hopefully 2017. That's kind of the time frame I've been spending in the space. When we look on one of the positives coming out of what just happened is you've seen a lot of investors withdraw assets into self-custody. And as more assets move into self-custody, we can observe behavior on chain to see what are signs of capitulation and what are sort of underlying investor behavior. What does that look like? And those data points become more valuable as investors move to self-custody. So what we're seeing right now is obviously as prices have moved down, some cohorts of owners of either Bitcoin or Ethereum have been selling, and the question has been who's been buying those tokens or those coins. One of the things we're seeing on chain is you've seen buying behavior across a variety of different basis, right? All the way from small buyers, which people like to call shrimp, all the way to whales who are sort of establishing positions here. And when you see that type of buying across all the various cohorts of buyer base, that's historically coincided with capitulation and bottoming events. So we're looking at that and saying, we're probably in a bottoming formation across crypto. You've had sort of, my guess would be that at this point, anyone who's remaining in the ecosystem are likely true believers in the underlying technology and the asset class and the future upside of the asset class. So you might be hitting a point of seller exhaustion while you might have some new entrants as well coming in.